I've come here now to see a palace, and a very special person is going to present it to us. It's our friend, Nathalia. This is Nathalia, and Nathalia has started doing some work here in the Guimarães region, in the real estate area, and the other day she sent me a message saying that she had found a palace. I was very curious to see it, to find out about it, and I'm also here to help Nathalia publicize this property, which you'll now be able to see for yourselves. Not much, right, Nathalia? Is it big?
It's very big. In terms of land, in terms of territory here, in terms of land, we have 2,200 meters square. But of the house alone, we have 957 square meters.
957 square meters?
The house.
Built-up area?
Built-up area. We have a ground floor, a second floor, and an upper floor. So it's very big. It's a palace of 1,921.
1,921.
1,921.
103 years.
Yes. But it's very, very well maintained. It's perfectly livable. So it's very well preserved. It has a very good history.
So we're going to see it.
Yes, it has a history that goes back to Brazil. So it has a very nice history.
Very good. So we're going to take a look, and Nathalia is going to tell us about the history of this mansion. Shall we get to know it a little? Let's go. Come on then. This part here is the second floor, which is a very large area with lots of rooms. It's in very good condition. Outside, you can see the garden with the swimming pool, the area, and I'm walking around all the rooms here, and it's very nice inside. The openings, too, very solid wood, very beautiful. The floor is also a very beautiful wood. And a large room like this one. Imagine the size of this room. This is the view from the outside. Look at the size of this room. And this is just one of the floors, the middle floor, the second floor. We still have the ground floor and the attic. And I'm going to show you in a moment that there's another tone and a T2 that are ready to be used as well, which are also part of this property. This lower part is the ground floor. We have the middle part where we have the main part where there is the luxurious bathroom of 1,921 that Nathalia is going to tell you an incredible story about. I wanted to talk to you about what this bathroom is like, the history of this bathroom, and the upstairs, which has some other rooms and a nice structure too. This property is very beautiful, very beautiful. And for those of you who come here in person, know that you're going to fall in love with it.
This house dates back to the year 1921, and what's really unique about it is that the owners were a man from Portugal and a woman from Brazil. The Portuguese man traveled to Brazil, where he met Laura. Interestingly, the palace is named Vila Laura after her. There's even a small plaque outside the house that reads Vila Laura. He met this woman in Brazil, and she was of African descent. I believe slavery had already been abolished in Brazil by then, but he brought her back with him as his wife. And when she arrived here in the city, it was a great revolution because he was a Portuguese man with a black woman, and had very high purchasing power in the region. And this palace was built for her, for Laura. And the big difference with this palace is that here in the region, basically, there were no houses that had bathrooms inside. The bathrooms were all outside the house. And this house has a large bathroom. And apart from anything else, it was a house that had a bathroom in it at the time, a bathroom that had hot water. So in the region it was treated as a big event. There were parties here in this house for people to come and see the bathroom that had hot water. And then he testified a few years later that they lived here in this house with his family and employees. And that gentleman died. This Portuguese man passed away. After his death, a significant rumor spread that Laura invited people over to her house to bathe with her in the hot tub. She wasn't very well known in the area. Yet there's this legend that men would come here to bathe with her in the hot tub, which was the main attraction of the town. The bathtub remains original, just like most of the things in this house, which are preserved in their original state. So, even a house of 1921, it's very, very, very well maintained. It's been remodeled. Already, the former owners of the house, who are not the children and descendants of this family. This house has already been passed and has had a little remodeling, mainly on this floor that we are on. But the vast majority of the attributes of the house are original, so the house really is in perfect condition.
Well, folks, this palace is very large, and it's not just a palace. It also has a garden area with a swimming pool, and there are two other properties that go along with it, a Tone and a T2. I'm going to show you T1 and T2 first, which are ready to be lived in, including T2, which is rented out. Temporary accommodation, like temporary local accommodation, which people rent out for the weekend, for a week's vacation. And T2 is very nice. Tone, it's in the process of being refurbished, and there's very little left before it's ready. But the whole property already has electricity, internet, water, so there's a very good chance that whoever buys this property will be able to move in and over time enjoy it and create new business opportunities for this wonderful property that we're seeing here. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly show you T2O Tone. Nathalia, I was telling people that here, in addition to the Palace, there are two other properties that are part of the complex, a Tone and a T2. How is Tone?
Yes, there are two annexes in this palace, which are two apartments, one Tone and one T2. This Tone is pre-remodeled. There are still a few finishing touches to be done, but there's very little left for it to be ready so that you can, if you possibly want, make it an investment or a home. Well, let's get to it. This is a mansion in Cabeceira de Bastos, in the village of Cabeceira de Bastos, in the parish of Cabeceira de Bastos. It's a palace categorized as a T13, with a living room, bathroom and kitchen, but you don't have to use the 13 rooms as bedrooms. You can make these rooms whatever you want. So it's a very large house, categorized as ground floor, second floor, and attic. All the floors have a very important feature, which is the very high and wide ceilings, which gives the house the feeling of being even bigger than it already is, which is 957 square meters of gross built area. So, it really is a very large mansion. And from the pictures you'll be able to see that it's very well preserved. The state of its conservation is in perfect condition for being a house of 1921. There are some areas of the house that have not yet been remodeled, but even so we can see the state of conservation of the house. In addition, the house has two apartments, a Tone apartment and a T2 apartment. These are two annexes to the house. The Tone apartment is in the pre-remodeling phase. It's not long before it's in perfect condition. And then there's T2. T2 is in a perfect state of refurbishment, ready to move into. One important aspect of this T2, in my opinion, is that it allows you to envision the appearance of the entire refurbished palace. This part of the house is truly ready for habitation. Additionally, it can serve as a source of extra income or be rented out. It can also function as local accommodation during the summer if desired. Because this area, along with the apartments, includes the leisure area of the house, which is an exceptionally large space, there's also a swimming pool, with a games room, two barbecue areas, and a snack area. So the house really does have a lot of space for you to enjoy. What's more, we have the location of the house, which I think is also very important to say. That can favor the issue of local accommodation, that right in front we have a river beach. That in the summer has a lot of movement, a lot of people, so it really is an ideal space for you to make extra income in the summer. Or if you want to follow it, with a long lease is also a great possibility.
Well, Nathalia, but come on, you know what matters?
Yes.
How much does all this beauty cost here?
This mansion, this property, is worth 540,000 euros. 540,000 euros? 540,000 euros, yes.
So, if you count by square meter, that's 500 euros a square meter? Almost 1,000 square meters built, 540,000 euros. That's practically just over 500 euros per square meter. That's not such a high figure. Of course, Nathalia, it's not a property for just anyone to buy.
No, it's not a property for anyone to buy. Because of the location, the history, all of that, it's definitely not a property for anyone to buy. In addition to the price. It's not the price that the middle classes normally buy property for here in Portugal. It's usually up to 300,000. Is already a property in a slightly higher category.
But it's a unique property.
It's a unique property, it has history, it's a palace, it's part of the city's history. I didn't give it the name palace because I think it's interesting. It's categorized as a palace. In the property's documentation and it's part of the city's history. It doesn't need any consultation. To be able to do anything to it, remodeling or anything, whoever buys it can do whatever they want, but it's part of history. So all of this, in addition to the location, in addition to the size, in addition to everything it has to offer, it's part of history. It also has the question of its historical value, which is very important.
If someone, a family, wanted to live, for example, in the palacete, tidying up the second floor, leaving the second floor, ready, it's very big, just the second floor, which needs very little, right?
Very little.
You can rent two other properties, a T2 and a tone.
A T2 and a tone. Exactly.
Maybe you can get a good income from these two properties, either by renting them out, or by renting them out on a fixed monthly basis, or by renting them out locally.
3 months of the year you're guaranteed to earn an income. This year, during the 3 summer months, the house was occupied every weekend. So there is demand. There is demand.
So, I leave it up to everyone's creativity to look at this property and for me to see what possibilities such an incredible place could have. If I came to live here, I would certainly occupy one part, which is the top part of the Sopro. The rest I would arrange to create local accommodation via Airbnb. Because imagine putting an ad on Airbnb to spend, for example, a week in a palace.
No doubt about it.
Incredible, right?
Here, the possibility of investing even in the palace is incredible.
And the accommodation would be very much a function of the experience, right?
Yes.
People often visit because they are interested in exploring the place and the city itself. This could truly be an experience. In fact, Airbnb features an entire section dedicated to experiences. Yes, indeed, it's true. It's true.
I also find it very interesting.
Being able to do two places with the experience of living in a palace. And also having a tone and a T2, maybe you'll get a significant amount of income here in the year, and you'll be living very well indeed. It's always great to be with the members of the channel. I think this collaboration and cooperation is very important. It makes everyone evolve, grow. And we manage to create these bonds, these humanities. It's nice.
It's very important, especially people who give you confidence here. That's very important. It becomes a family, right? It's very important, very nice.